You've been hoping, dreaming, praying, having visions about this end result, this final pinnacle of success that you have been wishing to attain. And for whatever reason, you know it's coming. You feel it in your heart that it's happening, but you are going through some hardships right now. You're going through some trials, some tribulations, and you feel like you don't understand why it's happening, if you're even going to get that dream that you've been wishing for. But I promise you, the end is coming. God has shown you what the end result will be. God has given you that vision of this is what it's going to be. All you need to do is have faith that it will come to you. If you don't have that faith, you're going to give up. And when you give up, you don't even give yourself the chance, the opportunity to even get to that point, because you said, you know what, I don't think it's happening. I'm going to give up. You have lost faith. A lot of the things that we're going through right now is for us to build that faith, to develop that faith. Because if we knew the process of getting there, if we knew that in order for us to get there, we have to go through these hoops, we're not going to have that faith. That faith will not be there. But God said, I'm going to show you what you're going to get. I'm going to show you the end result. This is what you're going to get. But I just want you to have the faith that it will come to you. And once it does come to you, you're going to understand, wow, I get why I had to go through these things that I went through. It's going to make so much sense to you. Let me give you the story about Joseph in the Bible, so this message can really sink in and you can really understand what I'm talking about. Joseph led by faith, not by sight. Joseph was the favorite of all the sons of Jacob in the Bible, right? And Joseph was highly favored by God and by his own father. He was the youngest of all his sons, of Jacob's sons. Joseph one day had a dream, right? He had a dream that everyone was going to bow to him. His brothers, everyone was going to bow down to him. And he told his brothers about this dream. His brothers, who were already jealous of him, who were already, didn't like that he had so much favor with their father, they were like, so you think you're better than us? You think you're better than us? So guess what happened? They tricked Joseph and sold him into slavery. He was sold into slavery in Egypt, and he ended up finding favor in the eyes of the Pharaoh. Joseph is known to have really good dreams. He has vivid dreams that come to pass, and he can interpret his own dreams. So he had a dream, and he knew that he needed to, hoard a lot of grains and food supply for Egypt because a famine is coming, and Egypt ended up going through famine. So he was even highly favored by the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh really favored him because of that. And a lot of people came to Egypt to try to purchase goods and to try to get food and supplies, because that famine is all over the land, right? And Egypt was the only place they can come to get it because of all the stuff that they stored for this famine that was prepared. This was I'm talking many years, many years after he was sold into slavery. And so his brothers came to Egypt to ask for food. They didn't recognize him, but he recognized them. And not Pharaoh, and Joseph, they ended up bowing to him. He gave them everything. He didn't have any malice. He wasn't angry, but he gave them everything that they needed and more. He blessed them and more, right? And now Joseph is at this high place. He's at this high place. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that this young boy that was sold into slavery, okay, after he had this dream that he was going to be so great, and he was sold into slavery, and now look, the same people that sold him into slavery are now looking for help from him. They now need his help. They are now bowing to him. His dream came to pass. If Joseph didn't have that faith, because Joseph knew the ending, he knew the ending. He just didn't know the middle. He didn't know how it was going to play out, but he knew the ending, and he had that faith. He had that faith because A lot of people would have given up, would have said, oh, I'm not going to be a leader. I'm not going to, after they have gone through some trials and tribulations. But Joseph was sold into slavery. This young boy was sold into slavery, and he still made it to the top, and his dream came to pass because he saw the ending and he had faith. No matter what was going on around him, no matter what was happening to him, he did not believe his physical eyes, but he believed in that dream, that vision that God gave him. Everything that Joseph went through, everything, being sold into slavery, was able to get him that favor in the eyes of the Pharaoh, to even give him the power that he had. Everything he went through was necessary. It was that foundation. It was that foundation that was built to help him to get to where he is right now, or he was. The things that you're going through, it might feel weird. It might suck. It might suck in the moment. Your prayers are being answered, but it's not being answered the way you want it to be answered. It's not being answered the way you expect it to be answered. But I promise you, it's being answered. God is not going to let you down. But the only way that you are going to be unsatisfied, the only way that you're going to be let down is if you give up. Because you didn't even give yourself the opportunity, the fighting chance to even say, I have the probability of getting to this vision that I have for myself.